Hi, I'm Lauren Scott. I'm the owner of Verve Holistic Health in Raleigh, North Carolina, and I've been serving my community for around 16 years, helping people see themselves as whole humans and standing in their true autonomous power. I especially have a passion for helping mothers and babies during this very special process of coming into being and coming into power. I believe this point in time offers us this unique portal, this quick progression into transforming into a true, powerful spiritual being, understanding our own power, our own authority over ourselves, and understanding that we all have a choice in every single decision that we make. It's all our own choice, and we all have this amazing power to heal and see ourselves as whole beings. These beings that I see in the babies every day they come into my office, these perfect divine beings. I came into this work, honestly, as many people do in the healing capacity. I myself had to heal on many layers, all the layers that I see for humanity now, on a physical layer, on a chemical layer, on an emotional layer, and on a spiritual layer. I had to get all of those aspects of my own personal life in alignment to truly be able to see clearly on how I can best serve and help others step into their own innate natural wisdom. I grew up on a farm in eastern North Carolina. I'm very grateful for this background. I grew up learning natural, rhythmical farming practices. I grew up with a wonderful family. I particularly want to give homage to my grandmother Claudia, who my only son is named after. She had a vast, beautiful garden. She cooked from scratch every day with love. She held the space of her home and of our family with brilliance and ease. She was peaceful and non-judgmental and very spiritual in her being. She was a powerful, powerful human. I'm thankful for her influence, and I'd like to propel her spirit forward through this work. Also, in growing up on a farm, I witnessed the changes that our society's experienced in the last several years. I saw these natural rhythmical practices that were based on the moon and the tides and the sun go from full dependency on natural rhythms into more chemical-based practices. I saw crops get turned into Roundup ready crops, which on our labels are said to be genetically modified, and they are. They're genetically modified to increase yield, in part by being sprayed with herbicides and pesticides, including glyphosate, that have gotten into our food system and into our physical and chemical systems and have built up toxins for people. In addition to these physical and chemical toxins, I've seen the change from, again, that homegrown spiritual wisdom to outsourcing our decision making. I've seen people lean more into what people are telling them to do and what authorities are saying over them instead of truly trusting in their own body's innate wisdom and capacity to heal, and in their own womanly power to mother. I've seen mothers come into my office time and time again doubting themselves. I myself have experienced the vast doubt in this motherhood experience because of so many of the things that have been said, told to me, and much of this illusion that there is some authority over me. I've especially witnessed this in my unique perspective of being in the healthcare field and watching as allopathic medicine has disempowered people and told people that they must rely on medications and chemicals to be healthy. I've also watched these very same things be the toxic burden on people and helped people go down this pathway of non-health and non-flourishment. I want to help people get back to understanding their innate wisdom, understanding their body's full capacity to heal. I want to help people be in alignment with their physical and their chemical, their emotional and their spiritual nature. Going back a little to my own background, I clearly remember the progression of my own health going downhill. I remember being sick as a child. I remember vomiting. I remember I got to the point that I really vomited every day because I had acid reflux. I started to be told and think that that was a normal way of being. I was given Prilosec and other medications to try to deal with the symptoms, and they never really helped me heal. In addition to that, I was diagnosed with chronic fatigue. I was diagnosed with juvenile rheumatoid arthritis. Both of those things came directly after I had received childhood vaccines. I remember multiple times of being vaccinated, and this was a very long time ago, before even the vast amount of changes and increase in the number of vaccines given to children now. But I remember being vaccinated, and I remember losing consciousness in the office. I remember afterwards having to stay home from school for weeks at a time because I didn't have the energy to do anything. No one ever told my mother, no one ever told me that it might have been from the vaccines themselves why I saw these challenges. But I also want to acknowledge that I did grow up around lots of pesticides and chemicals that were affecting me during that same period of time. In addition to the GI issues and the fatigue issues, I had chronic pain symptoms. I had hip pain and joint pain that debilitated me to the point I couldn't walk very far and I couldn't sit for very long. I was receiving cortisone injections into my hip when I was 20 years old. I went to orthopedics, I went to PTs, and I was really told that there was nothing wrong with me. I even had some doctors indicate that it was all in my head and maybe I would need mental health pharmaceutical medications for my joint pain and my reflux issues. In addition to this, I had very painful periods that were very irregular. And by the time I was 25, I had a fibroid tumor in my uterus that was as massive as a grapefruit. I had to have it surgically removed while I was in chiropractic school, only after being on hormone reducers to make sure I would build blood up enough to be able to survive the surgery. I was told that I should probably lose my uterus and that I should never be able to have children. I do have a son, Claude. He's my miracle baby. He's been vital on this healing process to me because I've always looked at him as a whole conscious being. I've allowed myself to be taught by him. I've allowed myself to look into his eyes and see the reflection so that I could heal the patterns in myself that did not serve me and that did not serve him. I've been honored to see this pure little boy, this being that's so clear and so powerful, that being given the gifts of empowerment from the time he was a young child, be able to do anything he wants. He's an amazing being, and I will talk about him more, but I can't say enough how much his presence and his birth and his existence and his turning me into a mother has changed my trajectory and has made me become a mama lion for all the children out there. I honestly feel like I came into this purpose to protect children like him. I want every child to have the opportunity to start their life in a healed position. And if they're not starting out quite perfectly enough, to see them as that perfect being and help them getting to a healed state that they don't need any further assistance and they can be in their true power from the time they're a tiny child. I want to help families know how to raise their babies into this powerful being. I want all of us to feel empowered in our choices and know that every choice we make is ours. Thank you for listening to my story. I hope to bring you more, but this is a small start of why I'm doing what I'm doing and how I wish to move forward to bring you more information so that everyone has access to this power.